Today on 10-Minute IT Jams, we have Ed McQuiston, who is the Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer for Hyland. Hyland is a US-based enterprise software vendor that sells OnBase, a content management system used by customers across all verticals, including healthcare and financial services. So welcome to the Jam, Ed.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks for being here. So to start off, so Hyland's been quite active in the past 12 months. You moved your main platform to a cloud-based solution, OnBase. So could you tell us a bit about the rationale there, what this is and how it's been received?
Sure. So we've been offering a hosted version of our product for many, many years. But one of the things that we've looked to, evolve is through this foundation concept is to have the, releases themselves and release schedule behave more like a more typical SaaS provider. So putting out releases on a quarterly basis, allowing people to take advantage of enhancements and improvements much more quickly, and just have a easier, more sustainable upgrade path for our customers from version to version as they take advantage of the foundation concept.
Right. Yeah. So could you just give like a brief overview of the OnBase Foundation? What for people who aren't familiar with like maybe cloud-based solutions like that?
Yeah, no, my pleasure. So OnBase itself, this content services, industry that we are in is actually a pretty broad set of functionality. It really involves in ingesting any variety of content, whether it begins, digitally, whether it's something scanned in, it could be a PDF, an Office file, an email, and anything in between. And then really becomes about what do you want to do from there. Is this something that you want to automatically extract information off of using advanced OCR technology? Is it something that you want to run through a business process that you've laid out in a linear fashion, something like AP where you go through approvals? Is it something that you want to be part of a low code application that you might build? So replacing legacy apps, replacing spreadsheets with new apps that you can actually build that house both discrete data and unstructured content in a single place, and of course make that all retrievable and interactive, not only through our own interfaces but integrated with core line of business systems. And that's where our vertical expertise really comes in. You mentioned healthcare, financial services. Those users, a physician wants to interact through their electronic medical record system. So although they are using OnBase, it's actually serving all the content up through the EMR interface that they're used to. We replicate that same kind of thing in banks through their core systems, through AP systems. And so we've got, literally millions of users out there, a lot of which don't even know that they're OnBase users because they're leveraging our capability set from those cores. And so we, make that information available. And then of course, all the back-end compliance, so records management, destruction, litigation hold, and all those kinds of things, are all parts of that product set. And so, foundation is really about enabling people to take advantage of a broader set of the portfolio with more frequent releases through that hosted version, so that they can concentrate on expanding the breadth of use, not maintaining the product from day to day.
Right. Yeah. And moving on a bit from the solution side, Hyland's been quite active with acquisitions lately. So not too long ago, Hyland acquired Another Monday and Alfresco. So what's the strategy with the acquisitions, and what does each of these new companies bring to the table?
Yeah, we're really excited about the acquisitions that we've been able to execute on this year. We have a history as a company of doing acquisitions where we believe they make sense. And so back in January, we actually acquired a company called Learning Machine that offers blockchain rooted digital credentials. So, if you think about any kind of licensure, any kind of diploma, anything like that, where you want to be able to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that this is, authentic, using that block cert technology with, digital, what were digital documents, is something we're really excited about. As we think about sort of this trust era of computing, we think that, we're actually kind of on the leading edge of what will become ultimately a requirement, from organizations, especially when exchanging content with one another, to have that be certified content. And then Another Monday, which we acquired in August, was really our foray into the world of robotic process automation, that RPA world. And we see it maybe a little differently than some of the pure play RPA vendors. We know that our customers, 16,000 plus worldwide, are using us for discrete workflows, business process management, case management, OCR, all of which have elements within those life cycles where robotic process automation can be applied to enhance the level of automation that they're already getting with the Hyland tools. And then, of course, in the case of Alfresco, we've known them for a very long time. We've been competitors for a very long time. And, we really saw an opportunity to fuse those two companies together to, expand the reach and the bandwidth, of both. Alfresco, has a very strong footprint in EMEA. They're very well known in the open source world, which is something that, Hyland was not. And between, and them being really kind of a cloud native technology only enhances our cloud strategy as a company. And so, we're really excited about all three of those, and are really in that, very positive stage of, assimilating the people and the technologies and the go-to-market.
Right. And then looking to the future for Hyland, both globally and across the APAC region, what's next?
Well, I think that, we have a very clearly stated, internal goal of being the leading content services provider globally. And, that is our kind of singular aim. And, I think that when it comes to the product and technology side, I think we fit that bill. And I think that's been noted by a number of the analysts. Where I think we have opportunity is in places like APAC, in Australia, Singapore, Japan, Southeast Asia, where we have, certainly a number of customers, but, we are certainly not, the industry leading, organization, that's kind of known to everyone in those geographies. And so I think, for us, it's about, continue to expand our customer penetration, our brand, to be better known across the region. And it's exactly why we do events like this, to really improve that exposure, because we know, from our experiences with, various customers across APAC, our value proposition is no less vital or valuable to customers in APAC. We just may not be as known. And so, as we're able to have success and leverage that success, we know that, we really can become, the dominant player in the APAC region, as we are domestically in the US.
Yeah, right. And finally, how are your services and solutions being received in APAC or in the ANZ region, a bit more specifically? And is digital transformation here keeping pace with the rest of the world?
Well, the one thing I will say, about APAC is that, at least for Hyland, it really is, it acts almost like three very distinct regions. So we have a strong presence in Japan and have been, present there for quite a long time. A lot of the solutions that we put in Japan are really kind of core, content storage, some workflow. We do quite a bit in AP, but, it's been a little bit more of what we would refer to as scan, store, retrieve, a little bit, simpler type solutions. And I think Japan is maybe now more so embracing with things like e-invoicing and their laws there, embracing some of that transformation. In Singapore, we've got a heavy footprint in healthcare, working with some of the larger clusters in Singapore, Sing Health and UHS, both as very large implementations where we're providing clinical solutions, to those hospital organizations that are serving, the citizens of Singapore. Australia has been more of a commercial footprint. So manufacturing, insurance, some retail, some financial services. So a bit of a broader base. Our market in Australia is a mix of both customers directly of Hyland as well as our partner network in Australia, who's had success, across the country. So we have partners in Brisbane, in Melbourne, and Sydney, and Perth, and so we do work with them to advance the product. I think to your question of digital transformation, actually a big part of what I'm talking about in my speech in a little bit is frankly the fact that we are seeing an accelerant to digital transformation due to the pandemic globally. It has forced, a reckoning, if you will, by organizations to be able to serve their customers in a new and different way. It has set aside what might have been internal obstacles in the past in favor of a need to go to market and reach customers in a different digital way, touchless way than they had to before. And so, that has, really served as that accelerant internally, and certainly for Hyland, we're fortunate to be in a position where the tools that we offer, our value prop, fits very well for customers that are needing to, accelerate that path. And those are exactly some of the stories that I'm going to tell in my discussion.
Right, perfect. Thank you. Well, that concludes today's 10-minute IT Jam with Hyland Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer, Ed McQuiston. Thanks so much for joining me today, Ed.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.